Hi, it's Mike, Found Video TV. I made a video about this Hoft wall about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, and I posted it. A lot of questions came in, so I want to kind of answer them and go through them in this video. All right, so first of all, let's talk about the longevity, or have I run into any issues with the wall since I installed it? Let's just get that out of the way. No, wall's fine. I'd say it looks as good as the day we installed it. Now, a lot of the questions we got was, what color did you use? Where did you get the wood? How did the panels come in? So let's go through them, all right? The wood that I use is regular deck boards. If you just go to your Home Depot or Lowe's and you literally type in deck boards, boom, it'll come up. It actually goes by 5/4 inch deck boards. So that's what you use here, and you slide in there. You can also, if you don't want to have natural wood, you can go with composite, so some kind of Trex. So if you just look at any composite, Trex, there's Under or Armor, there's a bunch of different companies, but basically a composite deck board will work in this system. This is actually one of the boards. This is not stained. So let me just show you right now. Let's look together. This measured right at like an inch, okay? So let's say for some reason you can't find something called deck boards at your place. If you go to your local lumber yard and just get something that's an inch thick, it will work with this, okay? What we used was this Thompson water seal, okay? I got this at Home Depot. This is something my dad used to put on his deck all the time. It's very simple to apply. You basically just sand the wood down, make it smooth, and put this on, okay? It's a stain and sealer all in one, but really let your imagination run wild. You can do whatever color or stain you want. I just like this simple one-step process that this has. You don't have to like stain it and then seal it. This has a stain and seal in it. So this is what I used, and the color is, that was a lot of questions, was autumn brown, is now chestnut brown. My grandma used to eat chestnuts, so that's why I got chestnut brown. If I put this here, whoa, no, don't do that, it'll blow up. So another question we got was about the spacing, okay? Now what you'll notice, and I didn't even notice this, is the spacing is a little erratic here. I got an inch, I got 3/4 of an inch, and I have a half inch. Half inch is actually the stock spacing that it comes with, okay? And if I look in here, you can see the wood has warped a little bit, and I didn't even notice this until I started making this video. Look, so this actually all needs to be kind of like pulled down. So, I mean, really no big deal. One of the things I was really worried about, and it didn't happen, was that the wood actually warping, cupping this way. So let's say this one cups out, this one cups in, this one cups out, and it did a little bit, but it still is relatively flat. So if we look at this, this is pretty flat. You can see maybe there's one board that might be sticking out a little proud of the other ones. See that one there? But for the most part, it is pretty flat, and this is the way it looks. I don't see any issues, okay? So another question that we got was around like the system, because it's kind of confusing. I could see how it could be kind of confusing. Basically what you do is you buy, each time you buy something, so you buy the Hoft post, it's just a post. So you buy the post, post, post. So in my case, I bought 3 posts, and then you buy your wood. So whatever wood you want to buy, that's completely separate. So you can buy wood, like I said before, you could buy composite, okay? The only thing you need to worry about is height. So there's 2 different heights. There's, I think, a 48 inch, and this might be like the 6-foot one, okay? So that's the height you need to figure out. Once you know your height, then you need to know how many end posts. So this is an end post, because you see there's nothing going. So I needed 2 end posts for mine, and then I needed a center post. So the center post, what that does is just accept from both sides, okay? The anchors that I use, I will put a link to them down below, but you can see the anchor system over here. I opted for the concrete wedge anchors, and then I put these rubber covers, okay? The rubber covers are, I'll put a link to them down below as well. That's just basically to kind of make it look nicer. If you didn't have the rubber covers on here, you would just see bolts. So no big deal, but I like the rubber cover. Another thing I was worried about is maybe it's the wood splitting, and we don't see much splitting. You can see it kind of opening up here and here, and maybe a little bit here, but it's not too bad. And this side actually gets a lot more sun, so that's why I wanted to show you this side. The fading, it's not fading a lot either, so you know, it's not too bad. The nice thing is I can easily take these all out, sand them, and restain them after a few years, and they'll look brand new again. Another question we get asked about is how do I anchor it, or what can I anchor it to? Now you can anchor it to concrete, okay? You can anchor it to a deck, but if you anchor it to a deck, what I would do, so let's say this was your deck board and you were gonna anchor it to this, I would add additional supports underneath. You know, maybe a 2x6 underneath and then screw into that 2x6 underneath the deck so that it goes through the deck board, into the 2x6 underneath and into structure, okay? I would add some additional structure underneath. As far as going into grass or going into pavers, things like that, I'm not sure that just going into grass or going into pavers is really gonna work. A paver, you can drill into it, but the problem is this has a lot of leverage. If someone was to hit it up here and you had a paver, even if you had a 16x16 paver, that paver would just rip out of the ground and fall over, okay? So pavers is tough. Unless you could somehow anchor that paver to the ground and then anchor that post to the paver, then you might be okay. But just going to a paver, I don't think it's gonna work. Now, installing in the grass, I think would also be difficult. You might have to add maybe concrete pillars into the grass and then anchor your post to the concrete paver. So get a pillar in there, pour your concrete, level it off, let it dry, and then attach this to that concrete pillar. So that'd be an option as well. I might actually be doing that on that side of the yard. I hope this helped you. I hope that answered any questions that you might have. Again, this is about 2 years in. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. I'm Mike, FamilyDIY TV. On the channel, we're always learning, we're always sharing. Check out www.familydiytv.com, and I'm out. Are you impressed? Oh.